all the elements of fiction and drama are embedded in Canadian history. Struggle, loss, pain, survival, triumph, love. Really, the elements of drama are all in our history. But unfortunately, for many Canadians, history has this kind of oppressive quality to it, and we fear it like we fear poetry or mathematics, and we think it's going to be boring or uninteresting. And when I was a child, say in grade 8, I thought history was colossally boring, and to have to study it in class constituted a violation of my constitutional rights because I just found it so uninteresting. But that wasn't entirely my fault. It wasn't entirely a lack of imagination. It was because when history was presented to me as a child in grade 8, it was just a recitation of dates and facts, and it had no life in it, and all the life and color had been bleached out. The stories that I later learned about Canada weren't presented to me in the classroom in grade 8, and so I just thought it was atrociously boring and oppressive. And so I suppose the great thing about the pairing of historians, intellectuals, and novelists or dramatists is that novelists and other people who write drama can borrow nuggets of history that others have unearthed and turn those into personal struggles in ways that readers can identify with. And so that's often the catalyzing agent that drives somebody to a position where they do want to learn more. It's happened to me over and over again. And now it happens to other Canadians too. In the case of the Book of Negroes, just looking at the book that's called the Book of Negroes, a British military ledger that documents the exodus of 3,000 African Americans from New York City to Nova Scotia. Studying that book for years helped me kind of envisage and see the story. Looking at 18th century, 17th century, 19th century maps, European maps of Africa, also helped me envisage the story. So original old documents, they're not just for me avenues of information, but they provoke my imagination. So I see something that I've never seen before, and it gets my imagination flipping, and the next thing you know, I've imagined a scene that I hadn't imagined until I sat down and started flipping through it. So the research isn't just factually based. I'm not just looking for, well, what's the name of this person, or what's the type of gun that's used. It's also just to fire up my imagination with little discoveries. So the research tends to be covering a real wide latitude. I'm not just looking for a specific fact. I'm looking for creative inspiration in a way. I love the idea of popularizing history. It's very important to me. Our history belongs to us. And Black history, by the way, isn't just Black history, it's Canadian history. Black history is more than just involving people of African descent. It affects all Canadians of every background, as do other slices of our history. So to bring that history into the bedroom, if you're reading in the bedroom, or into your kitchen if you tend to read at the kitchen table, or in your classroom if you're assigned a book, to me is really exciting. And I do believe profoundly that to fire people up about history, Canadian and other, we need historians and teachers and journalists, intellectuals, public thinkers, but we also need dramatists, people who can excite Canadians about personal struggle and drama, because again, that's often the most immediate avenue and the most satisfying avenue into our own history. So I feel very proud to popularize aspects of our history, especially those that are relatively unknown. I'm doing it again now, working on a new novel that will also seek to popularize an aspect of Canadian history that very few Canadians have heard of.